So here's something you might find interesting. KDE once had a port of their entire Plasma desktop environment to Windows. It hasn't been a thing for years now, but up until around 2013, you could download this to your Windows machine and get access to a plethora of KDE apps and a pretty broken version of the interface itself. So naturally, that's what we're going to be doing today. Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. So today's episode is made possible by this Reddit post that I found a while back that goes into detail on how you can get this working on a Windows machine today. There's also some screenshots of it running on Windows 7 and it talks about the installation process and shows some of the applications running here. What I find really funny is way down here at the bottom, the author says, I don't know, probably this would relegate into a Michael MJD video or a niche use case. Well hey, I've got some good news for you. Now there's actually two parts of this package that you have to download. You've got the installer and then the core files. And the author of this post actually mirrored everything over on the Intron archive. So if you click on this link here, you'll be able to get the core files. And there are multiple versions available. We've got 4.7.0 all the way up to the latest release, 4.10.2 from May 3rd, 2013. And this is the version we're going to be exploring today. The installer is also linked right here. So if we click there, you can grab that here. There's actually a few versions of the installer available as well inside of this tar file. I just used version 1.1.0 in my testing and it worked totally fine, but you can mess around with those other ones if you want to. So I want to give a huge thank you to the author of this post, Alexis0021A, for putting this together. This was a great read, and yeah, I had no idea that this was a thing. KDE does have some Windows applications today. If you go to apps.kde.org, you can change this all platforms drop down here to Windows, and there are a handful of applications available. So we could go into console here and scroll down, and under unstable version you've got the Windows one right here. But this is not the entire desktop environment. That's what makes the KDE on Windows initiative, as it was called, very interesting, because you could actually replace Explorer with the KDE shell, though as you're going to see, it's not particularly stable. So I've got a clean install of Windows 7 here to try this out on, and we're just going to begin by running the installer application. And the way this would have worked back when KDE was still hosting all this stuff is you would just go with the first option here to install from internet and just have everything download through the installer. But since that's not the case anymore, we're going to go with install from local directory, and we have to specify the folder where all of our downloaded files are. So I've got that pasted in here. We're going to click on next. We're going to choose update installed packages or add new packages. And then we get a list here of all the stuff we can install. And I'm just going to check this box down here to check everything. And we also have language packages and spelling packages too. We're just going to go with the English option, but you got a bunch of other languages in here that you could choose from if you wanted to. So we're going to go with that, hit next, and it should begin installing everything after it says not responding first. And there we go, it's installing 209 packages. And we're done. So we'll click finish to get out of that. And now if we go to the start menu, you can see we've got this KDE release folder. I'm just going to open this up in Windows Explorer, and you can see we've got a ton of subfolders in here, and inside of those folders we have a ton of applications. There is so much stuff to take a look at, and we're definitely not going to be able to get to everything today because this video would end up being like 3 hours long. So I do have a few applications written down that I want to show you, and then I want to also go into the KDE desktop shell itself, which, I mean, as you can see, does not apply automatically, and that's because like I said earlier, it is pretty buggy. So at this point they kind of just intended you to use these KDE programs under just the existing Windows shell. One of the first things I noticed when I was going through these folders off camera is they've actually labeled a lot of these applications with a description of what it is. That way, if you didn't know what Kate was, for example, it's labeled as the advanced text editor. If we go back here into internet, they've got Conquer labeled as the web browser. And I think that's really great because if you were somebody who was really just curious about KDE and weren't familiar with the pre-installed applications that came with it, that way you can easily figure out what all this stuff is. So we're going to go into system here and start out with Dolphin, which is the file manager. And we'll go through this a little bit. Let's just minimize Windows Explorer in the background here. First thing of note is we got this really fun zoom slider here that changes the size of all the icons and everything in the window. But, you know, you got that kind of design language going on that if you had used KDE on Linux, you know, you'd probably feel right at home. One thing that's interesting is it only takes a single click to open up all of these folders in here, which is kind of weird on Windows because you have to double click to open up folders, and it's the same way with applications. Like if I want to run the installer here, I just click it once and it executes it. So that definitely takes some getting used to. I think there is under, you know, if we go into tools here or under configure Dolphin, I think in navigation, yeah, you can change it to double click to open files and folders. That we'd feel a little bit more at home as a Windows user. So we'll apply that, hit OK, and now it takes 2 clicks to open that up. So there you go. But yeah, I mean, you can navigate throughout your entire file system, you know, go into program files here, go into, I don't know, Windows NT accessories. We can open up WordPad if we want to. You got your file path up here. We've got a split view you can open up to, you know, if you want to have 2 different folders open at the same time, we can change the size of them, and we'll close out of that. We have this preview option. This works for photos. It basically just enables the thumbnail, you know, instead of showing the icon. So if we go back to the C drive here into users, I've copied over some sample photos to my user folder. So if we go in here, I got a bunch of photos, I can hit preview, and then we get thumbnails. But they have, you know, changed all the icons across the board. So, you know, throughout this entire application, you can see we got, you know, new folder icons. They've also made a home folder, you know, kind of to make it feel a little more like Linux. And this just contains shortcuts to all your different libraries. So we got like even your desktop here, where we got documents, downloads, pictures, you know, all that stuff. And then you also got some view options here. So here's like your, you know, detailed view where you get columns and everything. But yeah, so that's a little look at Dolphin. We'll go back in here. The next thing I want to show you is the web browser. So we'll hop into Internet and load up Conqueror. And you'll notice that all these applications have a similar design language. You know, they're all meant to go together. But it is kind of weird seeing Conqueror running on Windows here. It is 4.10.2. That is the version number for, you know, the KDE platform itself on here. I think that stays the same throughout all these applications. But yeah, let's actually try to maybe browse around a little bit. So we'll just go to google.com. We'll see what this web browser can do. I'm sure it's going to load up, yeah, like an older version of the page here. Let's maybe go to, we always seem to try to go to YouTube in these older browsers. I don't know why, because it's not going to work properly. Yeah, page loaded. Not really displaying super well. But yeah, you got all your navigation controls up here. We can go up. Oh, that's actually pretty neat. I didn't realize that was a thing. Yeah, this takes you up a directory, you know, just like in a, you know, file browser where you can go up one directory. This brings you up, you know, like in this case to just youtube.com, since we were on a subdirectory. So that's pretty neat. You got your home page, which is not going to load. We've got Google over here. And do we have tabs? I'm not sure if we do. Oh, yes, we do. Okay, we can make a new tab. It's just the tab bar here doesn't show up, you know, when you only have one thing open. So you just got to go in there, make a new tab, and then we get, you know, the option to make more. And I actually want to go back to that home page. Let's just close out of that and open it up again to get here. Because, yeah, you got some shortcuts to... Yeah, like your home folder, you can use this as a file browser, so that's pretty neat. You got your trash, network folders, and you got bookmarks, which you can also access just from this menu here. I mean, yeah, it's a web browser just with, you know, some KDE spice added to it. I figured it would be good to go into graphics here and test out Color Paint. You know, this is your paint program. We always got to mess around with a program like this in these videos, but just to do a little bit of a comparison here, let's open up MS Paint. Now, of course, this is the, you know, redesigned MS Paint that we got in Windows 7 with the ribbon interface and everything. This looks more like the Windows XP MS Paint, just with some more fun-looking icons. These look a little bit more cartoony than what we had in Windows XP. Your color swatches down here are noticeably larger. We can zoom into the photo here, or to our blank canvas, I should say. And maybe we want to select is this that's the line tool. This is the brush tool. Yeah, it is. Okay, so let's just maybe write out, I don't know, MJD. We always do some stupid thing like this. So we'll just do MJD, do a line there. I don't know, let's make a square over here. Make some like cool abstract shapes going on, you know. Do something like that. Let's get some pink going on there. Draw some lines and go all crazy. And you know, yeah, I mean, you can do all kinds of stuff here. You got a bunch of tools, and again, I'm probably going to say it a few times. We've got that same design language going on. So we'll save this, I don't know, to our desktop, and we'll call it cool. It looks like it uses the XPM file extension as default, but we could change that to, you know, a good old, let's see, do we got, yeah, JPEGs here. Let's do that. Cool. And there you go. So yeah. Now, you probably noticed we had a games folder in here, and yes, we are going to go in here for a little bit and mess around with some of this stuff. Now, the games I've actually not taken a look at all. I wanted to save this for on video just to kind of pick a few of these at random. I see miniature golf, golf. So yeah, let's maybe play a little bit of this here. Let's see if okay, well, maximizing the window doesn't, you know, stretch the game window out. He's got all this blank space over here, so we'll just leave it like that. And let's say new here, and yeah, it's just going to be one player. Choose course to play. Let's do classic, game options, strict mode. We can't undo, edit, or switch holes, generally for a competition. Okay, let's just go with that. Hit OK. All right, let's see what we can do here. Let's give it a good... Oh, well, that was... that was pretty bad. Let's see where it ends up. Oh, wait, we're actually getting through. Okay, we just got to do a little tiny hit there, and there we go. All right, let's try to get through here. Maybe do a couple of these holes. I don't know. Oh, well, that was pretty bad, wasn't it? Let's try. Oh, no. All right, I'm gonna have to give it way more power than that. Oh, look at that! Look at that! That is perfect. We actually, okay, well, we got a bogey on that one. So this is a par 3. Let's try to see if we can do that. It's not really looking like that. Oh, wait. Maybe it is. Okay, can I get a birdie here? Let's see. Oh, man. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, I kind of thought it was going to go back out here. Okay, so that's like a one-way thing. That's nice. But yeah, this is for par. I'm not really optimistic. Oh, look at that. There we go. So yeah, nice little miniature golf game in there, and that's under arcade. We also got K blocks. It's probably gonna be like Tetris, isn't it? Let's see. And yeah, it's like Tetris. Do we have the option to... Okay, yeah, so spacebar brings it all the way down, but you can actually hit the down arrow key. You know, the past few times the Tetris clones have shown up in my videos, you've not been able to advance down by a single line, and that just annoys me because that's how I play Tetris. So yeah, I can actually move it down one line at a time. So yeah, changing the orientation is the up arrow key. So yeah, got a nice Tetris clone on here. They don't seem to be big on the sound, though. We had no sound in that mini golf game. Apparently, I guess we're supposed to have sounds. I've got sound working in this VM. So we're not getting sound for some reason. Maybe that wasn't, you know, ported over. You know, they didn't have that working at this point. We do have a couple of themes, though. That's nice. We can apply this oxygen theme. That kind of fits more in line with the KDE design language, I think. Looks a little more futuristic. But yeah, we aren't really getting any sounds, no music, unfortunately. But hey, yeah, at least it's working on here. Let's maybe pick one more game. Let's go back out here and, let's go into the board games category. Oh, I see Reversey. Can you believe it? You know we gotta, we gotta open that up. And yeah, I mean, it doesn't look like there are any sounds, or it doesn't sound like there's any sounds, rather. Under settings here, we got some animation speed options. We can use colored chips. Okay, so we can change, yeah, from black and white to blue and red. Okay. Change the difficulty. We've got an impossible difficulty. Okay. We can configure shortcuts, configure toolbars. So yeah, you can actually customize the entire toolbar up here. That's pretty nice. We could add, like, I don't know, about KDE if we want to. And yeah, that shows up there. We could just get everything off of the toolbar if we want to. You know me, we gotta try to screw stuff up in these videos, right? Let's just get rid of the whole freaking thing, why not? And there you go. If you don't like toolbars, you don't need to have one. A couple other things under utilities, you've got, you know, a calculator, you've got a text editor here. We talked about that a little bit before. You've got, this is actually really neat, this file light. This is a disk usage program that tells you, like, we can go into the C drive here and see, you know, what folders are taking up the most space on the drive, and it gives you a little graph. So yeah, it gives you a breakdown here. You can see that the users folder is taking up the most of this here. Inside of here, you know, there's my user folder, then we got like desktop inside of there, so you can just go in here and, you know, figure out what your what your largest files and folders are in the system. So yeah, this is probably one of my favorite utilities in here. I kind of wish Windows came with something like this, just pre-installed. One thing I find funny, there's like 5 notes applications on here, 2 text editors, because we got KWrite as well, and then you've got KJots, which is a note taker. You've got KNotes, which are pop-up notes, and then you have Notes, which this is actually a touchscreen application. So yeah, you've got no shortage of applications in here. One last application I want to show you is the settings program under here. The UI of this really reminds me of the early versions of OS X, the system preferences application in there. You got these different rows, labeled as different categories. What's interesting though, is if we scroll down here, under platform, this is where you have the option to change from the native desktop shell to the Plasma shell, but you can see this option is grayed out because they had it disabled at this point. What we can do though is just close out of this, go back into our KDE files, go into the bin folder, and you see we got a bunch of executables in here. We're going to look for plasma desktop.exe. We can go ahead and run this, and we can get a look at what this desktop environment was supposed to be. Though, this was supposed to replace Explorer, so what we can do is open up Regedit here, and go into HKey Local Machine Software Microsoft Windows NT current version WinLogon, and change the shell key to this application. So we're going to paste that folder here, and then write out plasma-desktop.exe. If we hit OK, close out of that, and go into our Start menu here and log off. And now when we log back in, we'll get the full Plasma experience, which you can see is pretty bare bones at the moment. We don't even have a desktop wallpaper applied, though we can just right click on here, go to default desktop settings, and we can change this. Let's maybe go with, what do we got? Globe, satellite view. Does this still work? Let's see. Let's hit apply. Well, we can't even really get down there. Alt-A. Yeah, look at that. That's pretty neat. Oh, this is like an animated wallpaper. Look at that. Or, I mean, not just animated, but an interactive wallpaper. That's pretty cool. Now, you've probably noticed the first problem with the current state of this, and that's where did the settings window go? It just disappeared. It seems to treat the desktop as like its own window, that goes on top of stuff. And on top of that, nothing shows up in the taskbar down here. We can press Alt-Tab to switch between applications. So here's the settings window we were just in. But again, if I click on the desktop, it just vanishes. We have to hit Alt-Tab to get back to it and close out of it. We can go into our kickoff launch menu here. And we got our favorites, we have all of our applications, we got our computer, recently used, and leave. We don't have a shutdown option in here, interestingly enough. And one thing I've noticed is this search option up here, it allows you to find files, but you can't launch anything from it. So like if I search CMD and click on run, it just doesn't do anything. And I press, I'm pressing Alt-Tab right now, and nothing shows up. So it looks like that it's not, that, it didn't actually execute it. Well, it turns out it actually did. If we open up Task Manager here, you can see that cmd.exe is running. We just can't see it at all. I actually want to go back into our desktop settings and just change this to, let's go to maybe animated wallpapers, ASCII animals. Oh, wait, where did that go? Whoa. What? Wait a minute, what's going on? Okay, so I guess those aren't... Those aren't working. Image, can we just select, like, yeah, let's open, oh, geez. Yeah, I've not actually gone into here. So this file picker is way, bugged out. Look at those tiny little icons up there. I want to browse to, yeah, there's absolutely no way we're going to be able to get anything from there. All right, let's just go with, a pattern. Do we got some patterns? We do. Let's go with Ivory Coast. And can we change the color maybe to like a blue here? And do an Alt-A. Yeah, there we go. How about a lineage here? Yeah, I think that looks pretty nice. We'll just leave it on that. There is also this other UI element up here, this main menu, which has this nice glass transparency going on. And this is where you can add panels, add widgets, activities, shortcut settings, default desktop settings. Again, get back to this menu. Is this actually... Oh, it's the same as the right-click menu. Okay, I just kind of made that connection. Now, apparently there were going to be widgets in here, but they were never added in. You click on this, it just brings up this, what I'm assuming would be like a widget picker. But yeah, there's just nothing in there at all. And to get rid of this, you have to click on Activities for some reason, because clicking on Add Widgets just does nothing, and all this other stuff. Like if you go to Shortcut Settings, it just stays there. So you have to click on Activities to make that go away. You can also add panels, which just adds, like if we go to Default Panels here, it just adds like a whole nother bar up here at the top, which is rather funny. And then I can click on that, which apparently opens up this menu, and I think this down here does the same thing. You can add widgets from here, and there's the calendar opening up. Okay, does this do anything different? No, we get still nothing. You can add spacers. You can change the height. Oh my gosh, look at yeah. So you can really mess around with just a whole bunch of stuff in here. And then, of course, we can go into the menu and launch, you know, our various applications. Let's go to computer here and maybe just open up the home folder. Now, yeah, one thing I've noticed is sometimes it will open the application, but it'll just be running in the background behind the desktop. So we have to hit Alt-Tab again to switch over to it. And that opened up in full screen, and we can't actually get access to the window controls because this frickin' bar's in the way. So we'll go ahead and remove that. Geez, I need to really shrink this this frickin' thing down. How do I do that? Panel options, panel settings. How do I how did I resize this before? Oh, it was in here. Yeah, we clicked on that menu and then had to like work our way over. Oh my gosh, it keeps closing. Okay, there we go. We'll go ahead and shrink that way down. Now, as I'm sure you've already noticed, the design of the window controls and the title bars do not change. This is just the regular Windows Arrow theme. Oh, and speaking of Arrow, we do still have access to the 3D tab switching UI, so there you go. But yeah, I mean, you can see how much of a work in progress this was, even in 2013 when they had been working on this for a couple years. Now, I imagine this probably wasn't a major priority for the KDE development staff, and to be honest, I don't know how much of a use case it would have. You know, it would have to be somebody who was maybe thinking of switching over to KDE from Windows, but didn't want to make the commitment, you know, completely without kind of trying out the interface on their existing OS. Maybe a KDE user who was coming over from Linux to Windows for whatever reason. I don't know, but it definitely makes you think, and it's certainly a really cool piece of KDE history that I don't really think has been talked about very much. So that pretty much wraps it up for the KDE on Windows initiative. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, get subscribed, maybe consider becoming a patron or a channel member to get early access to these videos before anybody else. But either way, I just want to thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.